So I just want to give everyone a quick update on what is happening. So I went last week for my labs and my numbers were too low to do chemo this week. So basically, well, to do chemo last week. So they take you like your all different kinds of lab work, but what was lowest was my neutrophil absolute count, which basically, from what I understand, is your white blood cells. It's a type of white blood cell that originates in your bone marrow that it like reproduces. So if your neutrophils are low, then you are at a higher risk for infection. So they won't let you do it when your number is like below a certain number. They want you to be in a range. And I guess it's more not normal, but it's more likely to happen the longer you're doing chemo because your bone marrow takes longer to regenerate and to like reproduce itself, I think. So my numbers were too low, so I couldn't have chemo last week. So they pushed it back, and they're hoping that this week my numbers will be up and I will be able to do it. So I will go tomorrow, have my labs drawn, and then if everything is how it's supposed to be, I will start chemo on Wednesday. So everything is pushed back a week, which, double-edged sword, maybe? Is that the right? Whatever. Like, it's good and it's bad. Bittersweet, maybe. Because it was nice to have, like, another week where I felt good, and just, like, could chill with the family, but then it sucked because I was, like, mentally prepared to start chemo, and then we didn't. So that kind of sucked because it was like you like gear yourself up, you're ready, and then the letdown, and now I'm gonna have to like do that all over again this week. So that was kind of hard. Had a doctor's appointment with Dr. Walter on Tuesday, and threw me for another loop because he thought I would just like fly through this. And I hope I didn't tell you all of this. I'm pretty sure I didn't. But he thought I would just fly through like this last round that I did. You're not pregnant, you should be great, blah, blah, blah. So I go and meet with him and I'm like, you lied. It sucked. It was horrible. Like, obviously my body is just super special because it was still bad. And he was kind of like, oh, and he kind of paused and he was like, do you just want to be done? And I was like, well, of course I want to be done. Like, who wouldn't want to be done? But, is that smart? Like, and he's like, Heather, I just don't know what to do. He's like, because my situation isn't the same as everyone's, because we did chemo and then the hysterectomy and then we're doing chemo again, whereas most of the time they would have just done the hysterectomy, done chemo, and been done. So he doesn't have like a lot of like cases to go off of, to base it off of, and he's like, I just don't know. He's like, are we just putting you through this just, as a precaution? Because they think they got all the cancer, but they still wanted to do this just to make sure and to like, kill it all. But there's always a possibility that it still won't kill it all. And so he's just like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, no, brother. Like, don't put that on me. So after talking for a while and trying to figure it out, because he's like, you do whatever you want. He was like, so I was like, okay, I'll go home and we'll, I'll talk to Jordan. And then I was like, well, what would you do? Or what would you tell your wife to do? And he was like, I would tell her to do it because of the what if, what if we didn't do it and it comes back? Like, I could never live with myself. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, why can't you just tell me what to do? And he's like, because it's your body, it's your decision. Like, it's whatever you want to do. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, it's always been your decision. And I was kind of like, sure it has. And he's like, it is. It's always been your decision. And I was like, yeah, my decision with your strong recommendation. And he's like, true. I'm like, I need a strong recommendation right now. And he's like, I don't know. So we came to the conclusion of, we're going to do this next round. And then if it is just absolutely horrible, then we'll just be done. Like, that's what we said last Tuesday that we decided. And we set up like extra hydration, because I think I just get dehydrated because I feel so sick. I don't want to drink, I don't want to eat, and I just get dehydrated. So we set me up for more hydration, hoping that will help. But then, so I was on Facebook last night, and there's this woman, and mostly, I think it's just her husband posts, but he posted like a video of her sharing like her story, kind of like if you listen to like NPR, they have like The Moth, or like different times where people just come up and they tell stories and they record them, and that's kind of like what they were doing. And so she like shared her story, and I listened to it, and it was just her story of the cancer and all that kind of stuff. And she was one that we had reached out to them because she had her baby early at 34 weeks. She went through the same kind of chemo as me, and so we reached out to them just trying to get like information on how everything was, and the baby, and how big, and like all that kind of stuff. And so already kind of felt a connection to them, so I watched her video, and it was funny, and she made jokes, and you know, you kind of have to make jokes about cancer, you'll just cry all the time. And so watched her video, and then like he had posted it, and he was like, what she doesn't tell you in this video is that we just went back for her 6-month like scans, and like PET scans, when something is like cancerous, it like lights up, because they make you like, they put this dye in you, and it lights up whenever something is like cancerous. And her liver and her bones like lit up, and she's like, oh look, they're lit up like a Christmas tree. And so basically they told her that she has 3 months to live. And that just broke me and scared the crap out of me at the same time, because one, she has a 6-month-old baby, and I think they have another special needs kid. I don't know how old they are, but you know, like, she has 3 months to live, and according to the doctors, and obviously things can change and God can heal her, but you know, if she leaves those babies, and I assume that when they stopped doing treatment, they thought she was fine. Obviously, why would you stop treatment if you don't think you're fine? If you say, okay, you know, we're going to stop, and then 6 months later we're going to check, like, obviously they thought she was okay. And then 6 months goes by, and now she has 3 months to live. And I keep telling Jordan, and I've never brought it up to Dr. Walter, but I'm like, 6 months seems like such a long time with this type of cancer. Like, maybe with other types of cancer, it's like a normal length of time, but like, that seems so long to me when you have aggressive type of cancer, because look at that. She's basically dead. And so I think we're gonna do both rounds. And just get through it, because that is my what if that makes sense. Like, we've been wrestling with what to do, to do the rounds, to not do the rounds, if it came back, blah blah blah. What if? Well, what if, for her, and it came back, and I don't know. So pretty much decided yesterday that I was gonna do both rounds. And suck it up, buttercup, and just do it. So, and I mean, really, what's 2 rounds? Which I've hated whenever anyone has said that. Only 2 more. Yeah. You go do 2 rounds of chemotherapy and then tell me only 2 more. I also told Dr. Walter that I think that all the doctors should have to go through chemo and all the stuff that they make us do, just so that they can have more sympathy for us. Empathy, whichever. And he kind of got a kick out of that. And I was like, oh, you could do a colonoscopy. Like, because my friend was getting one. I'm like, that's something easy that won't, like, hurt you, and we were laughing. But, anyway, so, yeah. So, chemo this week, 2 more rounds. I think I was fooling myself with the neuropathy, like the tingling and the numbness in my hands and feet, thinking that, oh, it's probably getting better and that's why it's feeling worse. Kind of like, I don't know, I can't think of anything specifically that, like when it's healing, like when you get a scar, like it starts like itching and being more irritating. Like I kind of thought it was like that, but I don't think so. I think I was probably fooling myself, and I think it's probably just it was like delayed getting worse, because it's like, I don't want to be exaggerative. I don't want to like say I'm at like a level 10 pain all the time. It's just the fingers are kind of just annoying, just numb. The feet though hurt, and with winter coming, it's going to be very interesting because shoes hurt. So like today it's like 54 degrees and I'm wearing flip-flops and I'm always cold. And then like yesterday my family went to a park and they all wanted to go on this long walk, and I mean, realistically we wouldn't have been able to go because Grayson doesn't walk where you want him to walk. He walks where he wants to walk, and he didn't want to be in the stroller. So we probably wouldn't have been able to go anyway, but we definitely wouldn't have been able to go because of my feet, which is just disappointing. So they have me on Lyrica for that, so we'll see if that works. And yeah, so I don't know. These days leading up are always rough. It's always mentally fatiguing, and there's always lots of crying before, because it's coming. So Jordan told me to get out of the house, so I'm going to get water and take back diapers that I bought that are too expensive, because I'm cheap, Jordan's not cheap. And exchange an outfit that someone bought us because it's too small for Ashton. So I'm out of the house. I want to get something to eat, but I'm not hungry. But I am going to Meijer, and they have soft pretzels for $2, and they're amazing. So we'll see. But anyway, I think that's all. So yeah, we're gonna do this, and it's gonna be good. Okay. Love you guys. Thank you for all your support, all your prayers, all your encouragement, for watching the videos. Love you.